Alright, so we're going to get into more of the offensive side of Wing Chun. If you are studying Wing Chun, you should have heard somebody tell you before that there are no blocks in Wing Chun. There are attacks, not blocks. So if you are taking your lineage of Wing Chun and you're turning it into Pak and Tan, Bong, and then coming in here and doing a Gon or whatever, you're turning it defensive. All right, you are taking an art and you're forcing it defensive. Now I understand that when people start doing chi style and then they start sparring, you're going to get hit, and so you're going to block up. If we can get away from that, it would increase the ability for you to learn your chi style. So first of all, on a wooden dummy, we don't want to go fast. We want to actually do this slow. So we want to get into Yiji Kim Myung Ma, and when we're working the wooden dummy, we are doing things slow so that we're understanding our bone structure, okay? We're understanding bone structure. We're not coming in here and doing stuff to the point where we're super fast and things like that. Although you can do it, but the wooden dummy is actually meant for you to do almost a meditation with. You're supposed to be aligning these punches right down the center. Your bong has to be perfected. Your Wu hand has to be perfected. If you're getting into Man Sao, Wu Sao, has to be touching. You have to have your elbow in the movable elbow area. Your hand needs to be on either center line or on your nipple line, coming through the center line. You should be forming a triangle from the shoulder to the fist. So if I did this, it'd be a triangle. So you have to look at your feet. How is your feet? Are you still in Yiji, well, not Yiji Kim Myung Ma, but are you still down in your stance and rooted, or are you standing up straight and hitting? So when we work on the wooden dummy, it is this aspect of making sure that everything has been perfected. Everything is the same step. Everything is bone structure. You're meditating on this. Later, when you get good at it, when you understand the bone structure, then you can sit here and speak through this stuff, hit and move, and do all this pretty stuff. And now you're working on your footwork. So you want to make sure your knee's in a guard. You have the proper footwork. Your foot is not aimed at the wooden dummy. It's to the side, so that way if the guy were to kick in their groin, my knee's blocking the majority of it, but I lift if I want to, or maybe I want to shoot in here, and now I'm back here. I have to make sure my knee is in a proper guard, and I'm able to hit. So there's all these fundamentals going on, and if you're going fast on the wooden dummy as a beginner student, and a beginner student would be the first 6 years, okay? I'm being honest with you, first 6 years. So if you're going fast on all this, you're not paying attention. Are you just rotating with the shoulder, or are you pushing with the shoulder and using the muscle? You should be coming straight up with these punches. You shouldn't be. It's not like a boxer's hook. A boxer's hook is going to use the shoulder and the muscle mass of the arm. I'm breaking my wooden dummy now. These are just using the ground and the structure of my foot coming up. And I don't even know where that would connect. I don't know what fell. One of the boards fell. I'm not sure which one. But anyways, so when you're doing the wooden dummy, it needs to go slow. So the other thing is you want to get muscle memory. So let's start off with Tan Da rolling into a Pak Da. Here's the Pak Da. Here's the Pak Da. There's a Pak Da. There's a Bong. Tan. You are going to use your Pak, you're going to use your Tan way more often than your Bong. Your Bong, you should be doing it as a shift. See how I'm shifted? You don't ever You don't ever do it head on, okay? It's not meant to just raise it up. It's meant to side stream it, and it's almost like the tan. It's dispersing. The bong is dispersing energy, and as you shift, you're moving that energy this way, but it's lifting up and in. It's corkscrewing in. Your shoulder raises the arm, and your elbow and forearm corkscrew in there. So, if you are new to all this, if you are under 6 years study, you have to really pay attention. So much of this is on bone structure. Once you are focused so hard on this bone structure, then it becomes natural. And then when it becomes natural, you will just flow with it and you'll move and you're not even thinking at all. The only thing that I think of is maybe the guy's throwing a right and a left and move, maybe a knee, and I'm scooping up. So the only thing I'm thinking about at that time is how I want this guy to attack. So these motions when you're learning, especially with the footwork, when you add the footwork in and you're just learning this stuff, it's going to be a pain in the butt. So at first, you may be, oh, well, you know, you're learning how to punch right. And then later, you're actually learning how to develop and move your body, your bone structure, so that everything is perfected. Once you train thousands of times doing the bong right, doing the tan right, doing the pop right, doing the footwork right, sliding in, doing the footwork right and all that, it becomes repetition, and repetition is what builds the muscle memory. So when you have muscle memory, you don't even think. You don't think. So this is why we have teachers on YouTube, and some of them are like, you have to have your elbow in the movable elbow area, your hand has to be in center line, at nipple line, you have to come in, shoulders have to rotate up and not out, and they're slapping you on the head, shoulders down when you're punching, blah blah, you know, and they're giving you all this. And then you also have the same people saying to visualize the third leg, the center of the mass coming through there, and as you move, you're just moving your center mass. So when you're moving your center mass, let me move. So when you're moving your center mass, and you're thinking that part, let's see here, hold on. Well, I'm trying to get this to turn right. Let's see here. Okay. I got a workbench back there with the saw and everything. Excuse the mess. So once you learn all that, this stuff becomes second nature. Just as easy as you open up Yiji King Man and do a and you're coming in, you're going to be thinking. So this stuff right here is you learning. So you are learning to get that knee on that line so they can't groin shot you. Because if you're open here, groin shot big time. So you see people doing this stuff as they're coming in and moving. Later, it becomes more, and it's like they're skating. It's like they're skating and they're moving, crab staffing, moving, punching over here now, whatever. And you're learning this, and it becomes more that you're just moving your center mass. Wherever I move my center mass, my legs go, man. But because I've spent thousands of times going Yiji King Ma, I have to put my foot here. Person is positioned there. I have to make sure that my knee's in the way of the groin. I have to make sure my toes and my knee are not pointed to the guy like they are now. Be to the side. I have to drag up my leg. I have to be able to squat down. Sometimes you're 50-50, sometimes you're 70-30 with your weight. I have to be able to shove off with my back leg. You're learning all this thousands and thousands of times, and then it becomes natural. You don't think about it. You don't think about it. You're just moving. So if you're screwing up the things that later on you're not going to think about, if you're screwing up tan and you're doing tan to the side, or you're doing wrong bong, this would be a wrong bong. If you're doing that thousands of times, it's becoming your repetition, becoming your muscle memory, and it's wrong. So when you're doing wrong like that, or you're doing tan and you're pushing out this way instead of coming in this way, tan is in this way. It's corkscrewing. Tan is corkscrewing in. When you're doing it wrong, how you practice is how you perform. So then, once you've laid the foundation of doing this stuff wrong, and you're pushing your shoulder muscles, and you're using your arm muscle rather than the bone structure, you're just shooting it up, then you've created a wrong foundation, and now what becomes natural to you is the wrong way to do it. So when you're working a wooden dummy, go slow. Go slow and make sure you're checking where your positions are, okay? So I'm making sure that everything is online. I'm trying my best not to screw up things. Then, after you have about 6 years in Wing Chun and you understand things, you're going to start to develop this idea that it's a flow. It just happens. So as long as you have the good foundation, you're doing everything right, the flow happens. So now you're not even thinking about it, you're just moving around, you're doing whatever, not thinking about it. And for those that don't understand, this would be Tan Da into a Pak Da, okay? So that's what that is. Try that at home. You'll see how screwed up your muscle memory is if you're not used to doing that. Even people who have done Wing Chun for years, if they've not trained that way, with Pak Da running into the Tan Da directly, they'll screw this up. They'll screw this up. All I'm thinking about is this guy throwing a right or left, or maybe it's going to be a hook, or maybe this is a gut shot coming down here. That's what these are right here, okay? You'll see I'm sidestepping. That's either a gut shot or it's a really high, maybe kick to the gut. So, and this is not meant to like bash into them the way karate does. You know, no. I am hitting hard, and maybe I will hurt them, but it's still deflecting. And I moved out of the way, so this is going this way. So now, from this position, I have to realign myself to here. It has to be natural and normal to get that flow. Good luck training.